Season of Shittery. You think so? That's a good one. Did you come up with that?
As of doing this video, we are just past 2 weeks into Season of Discovery, and it has been an amazing ride so far.
How many of you guys, how have you felt about Season of Discovery so far? How many of you guys have enjoyed it, you know, had fun, etc.?
It's been raiding, PvPing, and just trying to figure out how best to play my class, given all the new runes and abilities. And everyone else has been figuring out their classes too.
Yeah, sure.
And it's really starting to show. So today's video was one I was on the fence about making, because I know we are so early into the season, and things very well may change in the near future. Again, it's been about 2 weeks and we've only had a handful of raid resets. I also fully appreciate many players won't have had the chance to hit level 25 yet, and that is fine. But myself, I like to look at the numbers. I like to see how different classes are doing out of interest, and to get an idea of how Season of Discovery really has impacted the game so far, and it is trending in a certain direction, I will say that much. I also realised the devs in the season didn't set out to make a near perfectly balanced experience where we are
Well, I think that they want to balance the game to an extent. Like, they clearly added the different runes in order to rebalance the game. That's 100% what they tried to do. But the reality is that the way that the runes are going to work is not going to be the same at 25 as it is at 60. Like, they're not going to give a fuck about, like, yeah, if there's like some crazy outlier, they'll fix it. But like, things are not supposed to be balanced at level 25.
Within a few percentage of each other on the damage
just
meter,
how it is.
Nor do I expect that from Classic, to be honest. In fact, Agrend himself has been clapping back at people jumping to conclusions about how their class is performing
the whole
already.
phase,
And I love to see that directly from somebody who's in charge of this game.
I also love to see the developer like say, shut the fuck up, you bunch of fucking nerds. You're playing a level 25 game. Don't worry that somebody's doing 10% more DPS than you. I can promise you that's not why you can't clear BFD. Yes, thank you. Somebody had to say it.
And as a follow-up to that, just before I was about to release the video, Blizzard have done a huge round of buffs for some of the classes suffering most in the current raid tier.
They need to buff Warrior.
I guess if we throw them
just
enough
like
extra
with
numbers,
everything,
eventually they will work. But I still think there are likely to be reoccurring problems. But today I want to talk about something which I think is worth giving feedback on, because right now it's more than just X class good, Y class bad. And again, I'm sure they are aware of this and have plans for changes, but I think in the interest of the season being a great experience for everyone, this is a topic worth bringing up.
Alright, let's see.
But first, a quick word from today's sponsor, Watcher of Realms.
Watcher of
Realms is a free-to-play strategy game available on PC, Android and iOS, where a new experience awaits for fans of role-playing games, MMORPGs and many more. Watcher of Realms features immersive graphics and lifelike 3D models, so you can really appreciate the world that you are stepping into. Watcher of Realms' special feature to stand apart is a 360-degree real-time operational battlefield.
This is like
Players
a
can
tower
control
defense?
a whole variety of heroes whose different characteristics can be used to manipulate land, water and sky. Each hero can contribute different bonuses to different maps, but they are fast to level up and to get to grips with, so you can experience action and strategy anywhere. Watcher of Realms places great emphasis on players' gaming experience, and is committed to creating a time-saving and user-friendly hero development system. A large number of free powerful heroes can be obtained in the early
Maybe this game isn't that bad
New to
after
the game
all.
is the Christmas event, which will feature seasonal decorations, extra rewards, new skins, and the ability to earn powerful legendary hero shards just for logging in. On top of that, there is also the new boss rush event where you can approach several encounters in a row to see how well you perform. There is even PK activities as well, and 2 groups of well-known influencers are competing for rich rewards. You can choose the camp you support using the link in the description below and win amazing rewards. You can download Watcher of Realms for free using my link below and get started in a whole new world with a new experience for all. Many thanks to Watcher of Realms for the sponsor today. Let's get back to WoW. So then, let's bring up the picture. Warcraft logs Black Fathoms deep over a range of 2 weeks, 95th percentile. This is how the top 5...
Well, this is obviously not working as intended. Warrior's not at the top. There's something wrong. Yeah. I think there's something wrong, guys. This is... Yeah, this is bad.
Performers for each class are doing. There's a pretty big gap between
That's all
the top
warriors
and the
are
bottom.
top
That's
now?
the first
Okay.
thing you'll notice
never mind,
here.
that's
But
fine.
that isn't really the point I want to get across, because we can change this down to 75th percentile here, or even 50th, and
Yeah,
it's
sure.
a similar story as to which classes are the
Hunters
ones
and rogues.
doing well. The
Yeah.
point is that in every example,
Need to
the
be
classes
nerfed.
at the top deal mainly or entirely physical
Mm-hmm.
damage, and the classes doing not so well deal mainly or entirely magical damage. Yes, there are some outliers here, such as the poor boomies or shadow priests, but it's not just a well buff those classes issue here. Every single caster is worse off than melee, with the one exception perhaps being warlock. Why are they doing better? Probably because
they're a better class. Warlocks are the best class in the game. They've always been the best class in the game. They can do more than any other class. They have more solutions to more problems. They're just the best. Like, so it makes sense that warlocks would do more damage because they're the best.
have life tap and can get a
It's
lot
just
more
how it
mana
is.
back during a fight.
I mean,
Also,
I'm just
warlocks
like,
are
that's
the
just
only
how it is.
caster who can use 2 runes in their main rotation, Incinerate and Chaos Bolt. And if you can get away with only using runes to deal damage as a caster, you very much want to do that. We'll talk about why later. The other big outlier is Enhancement Shaman, which isn't keeping up with other melee. Why is that?
Well, it's because they're stupid. That's why they don't have two-handed enhancement shamans. You remember that ability that the Wild Hammer riders had in Warcraft 2 where they would throw their Storm Hammer? Dude, I wish shamans could do that. Like, imagine having like a skill shot where you can like throw your two-handed weapon, like overhand it, and it would like stun anything in range. That would be fucking badass. Like, basically like heroic elemental throw.
Well, if I had to guess, most of the DPS buttons are still spells, and they have a mana bar to contend with too.
Yeah.
Now, there will always be a best and a worst DPS. That is how World of Warcraft works. Always has, always will do. But from what I can see at the moment, casters are generally worse than physical damage dealers.
People that aren't as good at the game play casters, probably. That's got to be the reason why.
And though we are very early into the season, I know that melee outscale casters by a pretty big margin.
A lot of good players play
and
melee.
Some of the caster gear that can drop
sense.
is insane. I mean, pretty much all the gear from BFD is crazy, but check this out, for example. The new
That's
epic
a Staff of
that
Jordan.
drops is so good, it would have been level 60 pre-bis back in 2019 Classic.
Holy fuck, that's actually a really good way to put it. Wow.
For every single caster.
Yeah.
This is including Diamond loot. And we can get that
That's crazy.
at level 25. The epic sword that drops is amazing too, but you're
It's
going
not
to
that
replace that at level 40.
Yeah.
Even if Blizzard didn't put new weapons in the game, there are better choices. Then again, it is a bit hard to compare weapons between casters and melee. One of them is very dependent on their weapon for damage, the other not so much. And I know, we're level 25, right? We've got new runes coming in the future, but when we level up, everyone gets more powerful. Shadow Priest's underlying issues...
Well, no, level 40 warriors are just going to go into... we're going to be on the moon, man. Like, we're going to be on the moon, everybody else is still going to be living in the dirt. Like, I'm telling you, I'm going to have Ravager... I'm going to be using Ravager, doing all this fucking damage, like AoEing shit like crazy. I'm going to stack everything up. It's going to be fucking disgusting. Warlock's basically 20 levels higher than everyone else. Yeah, you're right. And I'm going to level up my Warlock. My Warlock's almost 25. So I'm going to have all that ready for the next one. What about Rogue Tank? Nobody cares. It's stupid.
Are not going to be fixed when you get
you get
Shadowfall.
Whirlwind.
I'll
They
just say
tease
that
Bladestorm
right now.
too.
So what's the deal then? Why is physical good, caster bad? The first point is spell rank.
You know what I want to see them do? I want to see them add in, remember the old Warcraft 3 Blade Master, where he would make 3 mirror images of himself and all 3 of them would Bladestorm? I want to see them add that.
Spell ranks exist.
I think they should add that to, like if I was going to add that into the game, I would want to have it added in as a weapon. Like, you know, like Lantrasaur's Warblade, like the one that is Lantrasaur. I don't remember. It's the polearm weapon that you're able to get the Leroy Jenkins weapon. I think they should just add that effect into a weapon. That'd be fucking awesome.
casters in a position where they're just short of being able to rank up their main damage dealing ability. Something I'm sure you've noticed with runes is that they just scale up as you level, and they do not have spell ranks. On top of that, they cost 1% of your base mana instead of a flat value, and in a larger number of cases, rune-based abilities are going to be significantly more mana efficient to use than your standard class spells. The ability for spells to scale and not need to be ranked up is a change from Kata, by the way, and base mana usage came from Wrath. Now, getting a new spell rank is kind of a big deal. For me, on my Warlock at the moment, my best rank of Shadow Bolt is rank 4, learned at level 20. It does 90.
Yeah, so like you're behind, and that's just how it is, right? Because like the next Shadow Bolt's at like what, 26 or 28 or something like that. So yeah,
52 to 104 damage. The next rank is 28, which I can't get this phase, and that deals between 150 to 170 shadow damage. So we're talking the difference between me having a button that does on average 98 damage versus one that does 160. Now for melee, however, spell ranks are not such a big deal, as a ton of their abilities are tied to stuff such as attack power or weapon.
Well, it's also auto attacks. Like auto attacks matter a lot, and if you have a level 25 weapon, that's as good as it's going to get. Auto attacks are huge.
Take Rogue, for example, and Sinister Strike. The best rank they can get by 25 is rank 4, which does weapon damage plus 15. The next rank at level 30 makes them now do weapon damage plus 22.
Yeah, it's like that's not even that much more, right? It's basically the same thing.
So the difference between these two ranks for the Rogue is 7 flat damage.
Scales,
the difference between the two Warlock spells is on average 68 damage.
Right.
So all in all, spell ranks are very impactful. In fact, Warlocks don't even press Shadow Bolt. Take it off your bars, put Incinerate on. It costs about half as much mana and deals more damage.
And it looks cooler.
The difference between melee and casters is across your whole spell book too. This is just one example so you can see the difference. On top of that, this isn't just a kind of, well, it's like this at 25, but it'll be better later, as each new level cap introduces new breakpoints where casters are short on getting new spell ranks.
Yeah, it's just too bad.
Just kind of don't care about them that much. It's only at level 60 when things begin to even out. This very much could...
Well, they even out where it's like all the casters are evenly at the bottom and then all the melee are above them. And then warriors are above all the melee. It's like evenly like this.
Just be something you have to deal with up to level 60 though. Spell ranks
just
are
how
a
it
big
is.
part of Classic. Sometimes you want to down rank or use a more...
I mean, maybe what they could do, like if I was Blizzard, this is what I would probably try and do, is I would try to add in like maybe a rune that gives you an extra spell rank. You know, like something like that would be pretty cool. Like a rune that like just opens up your next spell rank if it becomes a problem. Now, maybe that would be bad, but I think that would be maybe good. I have no idea.
Mana efficient spell.
Moving just fix
this
the
whole
scaling?
system to scaling as it was in Kata seems like a big step.
Yeah, like to be honest, I'm not really sure how to solve this problem. Maybe the suggestion that I gave isn't a good one, but that's like the first thing that comes to mind.
Perhaps base mana costs are starting to make a bit more sense now though. I mean, I'm just saying, my Shadow Bolt costs 110 mana, and my best rank of Life Tap restores 75 mana. I swear I'm getting an RSI for how much I'm having to tap this season. And I'm a Warlock, so you could say I don't have anything to complain about. Next though, it's not just spell ranks, it's scaling. Straight up scaling. You know, back when WoW first came out, barely any gear had spell power on it, or if it did, it was a very small amount. The idea was that casters put on intellect, and this would allow them to cast more spells, and therefore remain relevant over the course of a fight. Eventually though, Blizzard did start amping up spell power on items as they realized intellect alone was not enough. This is why typically when you're leveling in vanilla, nothing really has spell power on. However, these days now we have a pretty good idea that spell power is rather good in fact. Ironically, half the casters in the game are still going even with the updated gear, but still. What I'm getting at is that spell power equals damage for casters, and it's a purely secondary...
It's crazy how strong the spell power coefficients for the gear is, even at level 25. It's like what he showed earlier, right? Is like this gear, like if you look at the actual spell power output, this is like equivalent to like almost pre-raid gear. It's insane, yeah.
Intellect
it's
is
so
nice
good.
And everything. You need intellect for a good mana bar, but given the choice, you're going to take spell power for damage. What do melee need for damage? They need agility and strength. But they also benefit from both of these stats for attack power and crit. On the caster side, they have intellect for extra mana so they can cast more. It also gives a small amount of crit. They have spirit, which is meant to aid mana regeneration.
Right.
And then they have no stats that directly boost their spell damage. It's almost as if something was missing here, like a stat called willpower, where 1 point equals 1 or 2 spell damage. And though the new raid gear and updated raid quests start to fix this stat imbalance, physical damage dealers just get more out of their stats. They scale with percentage buffs such as the ZG buff when we can get that eventually, or Blessing of Kings or Aspect of the Lion. But more importantly than that perhaps is that they can crit with nearly all of their main attacks. So if anything I'll mention today, I'd say this has the biggest potential to change in some shape or form, and I'm 100% sure Blizzard knows how impactful this is, but as we currently are, only direct attacks can crit. Damage over time effects cannot crit in vanilla, so everything an Affliction Lock does basically, Shadow Priest, Boomkins, and so on, they're all severely hamstrung by this game design choice.
I think that it'll balance out later on, but he's right that it would be better if they gave a few extra little bonuses to casters. Like, obviously I like memeing around, and I want Warrior to be the top damage, but, like, it would be nice if they gave them a little bit extra. I think that, like, they should just look at what really the problem is with the toolkit, and then just look at giving it each class, like, a rune that will be useful at lower levels that helps keep them competitive.
Moreover, channeled effects cannot.
But I haven't played one myself. I want to try it myself and see what it's like.
Hurricane. I hate to pick
because, like, I feel like I can do a lot of damage as a warlock, but maybe I'm just stupid. So, like, I want to see what it's really like in the raid.
The boomies and shadow priests here, but this is why it's not looking too pretty at the moment. And yes, there are melees with very impactful damage over time effects too, such as deep wounds or Saber Slash especially come to mind. And maybe one day everything should crit, as it can in Wrath, but I think just focus on the classes who are very dependent on these effects at the moment. When you think about it though, it's always seemed a bit strange that it was the case that these types of abilities worked in this way. I'm not entirely sure why, either. Then again, vanilla is full of cloth gear with strength on it, and originally had a debuff limit of...
I think it's because dots are really strong in vanilla WoW. Because, like, you don't have the same type of, like, over-healing and, like, self-healing to, like, counteract dot damage. So, like, again, in vanilla WoW, like, it was a completely different set of, like, rules.
8. So, yeah, maybe someone just did this and everyone went with it. But perhaps certain damage over time or channeled effects should be able to crit via a rune or something of the like in the future, because purely scaling off of spell power just isn't going to cut it. And then of course there are spell resists and partial resists too. 2.5 to 3 seconds of spell casting, 80 to 100 mana spent, your spell flies towards the boss and resist. Ouch.
Got him.
Melee do have an equivalent for this too though, through glancing blows as well as dodge, block, all of those things.
Parry if you're in the
just
front.
when a melee attack misses or is glanced, your next swing comes in a few moments later for another chance. And yes, melee
so does your other spell, but
suffer on the turtle boss in BFD, but man, some of those bosses in there have a whole lot of bonus spell resist. Then again, this is very vanilla-like, so maybe it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that's stupid. Like, yeah, changing the spell resist on the bosses, I think that's probably the smartest way for Blizzard to fix it, rather than actually changing, like, baseline class design. Because, like, if the problem is that, like, these NPCs have a huge amount of resists, then just remove that, and then things will balance themselves out. So you don't have to change, like... Because you add another rune into the game, and then this changes PvP. It changes leveling. It changes everything. So, like, if the problem is with the bosses, then try to make sure that you're making changes with the bosses. That's what would make sense to me.
Saying everything I've gone through in this video, though, I just want to remind you again, we are in a super early version of this season. We're capped at level 25, and we do not know what's coming in the future. I think Blizzard have been doing a great job of rapidly balancing the classes as well as the game as a whole. So maybe some...
No, I mean, they've actually been... I'm very happy with how Season of Discovery has gone. It's great.
Some of the things I've gone over here are already in line to be addressed. And remember, the logs I showed at the start are for the raid, and the raid is basically a bunch of single targeting counters which take a few minutes each. There is more to the game than that.
Like mages can do insane damage in AoE.
There's PvP, there's gold farming, there's dungeons, there'll be more leveling in the future, and in all of these other areas, casters are doing just fine. Either way, I thought this was something worth talking about for the season. I know we're set for more changes in the future, but discovering that basically every melee spec is better than basically every caster spec in the raid is not quite the discovery that I was hoping to make. And I've been tracking Warcraft logs since early in the season. The physical damage dealers are only trending up. Anyways, let me know your thoughts on this topic. Should Blizzard change things? Do you think they already know about these and they're aiming to fix some of these problems later on? Let me know below. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have a rogue ult to go and level.
Oh,
so
smart.
Thank you all so much for watching and listening in. And I'll see you on the next one very soon.
Yeah, I think it'd be good if they balanced them out a bit more.
Season of Discovery is live, and millions of adventurers have been exploring a comfortably familiar yet intriguingly different World of Warcraft. Starting zones and capital cities are bustling. Ruins are being discovered left and right. New playstyles are being put to the test, and new enemies are being vanquished. But exactly how many other characters are you brushing shoulders with?
Yeah.
How many have already cleared BFD? And how hot is the combat in Ashenvale? Let's take a look at these questions and more. This is Season of Discovery by the numbers.
All right, let's see it. We love numbers.
In the first week of Season of Discovery, 4,535,307 characters were created.
Oh my god. That's a lot of fucking people. That's crazy.
To put that into perspective, here on planet Earth, it's estimated that about 250 level 1 humans are born every minute.
Wow.
Season of Discovery's birth rate is almost double that, at about 450 baby adventurers of all races.
New players
per minute.
every minute.
No sooner are you born than the hunt for runes
Oh
begins.
my god.
Between all 9 classes, there are over 100 different runes to discover, obtained in various ways. Whether from a quest, a drop, a chest, a vendor, or unique group activity,
characters,
each rune equates
but
to
still.
a new ability to try out. Cumulatively, players have collected 10,205,090 runes so far.
Jesus.
But a mere 0.09% of characters have collected all 12 of their class's runes. So
I haven't. I actually haven't,
be among the first to finish your own collection, and you might just discover your new favorite build. That build might involve redefining your class entirely. There have been 509,960 warlocks, 305,700
smart. Well, 500,000 smart people.
31 shamans, 473,619 rogues, and 627,156 mages
Oh
created so
yeah.
far. If we
What about
exclude
warriors?
level 1s in order to filter out bank golds and name reservers, 44.3% of characters you run across are capable of filling an entirely new role.
Wow.
That means your next instance group could be Clothies only, or all shamans, or rogue mage, rogue. Who knows?
The fuck?
Try it all out.
What the fuck?
With Season of Discovery's new banded level caps, people are getting to max level quicker than ever.
Yeah,
For
of
more
course.
casual players, that means that you can get to the end game while it's still hot. And for more hardcore players, that means that you can level up multiple alts without falling behind. So
Yeah, I just want to keep up with 3 characters. That's all I want. Paladin, Warlock, and a Warrior. That's it.
for 460,083 characters, or about 10% of the population, have reached level 25. And
that's really fucking good. Over 400,000 people are already max level?
We're still climbing fast. Ding! Congrats!
Wow.
Once you do hit max level, the reimagined 10-player version of Black Feather Deeps is waiting for you. Whether you
Only
schedule
10%?
a guild run or form
Yeah, of course only 10%. Like, you have to understand, like, guys, here.
Pug in the chat, the new BFD offers a bunch of new boss fights.
I think I saw this number.
And some of
Somebody
the
linked
best
it to
gear
me.
of this phase. To date, just 86,135 characters, or about 1.9%, have.
See, look at that. This is just the way it is. And to be fair, this is of all the characters. So, like, if it was 463,000, and it was, how many that cleared it? Was it like 80,000, 83,000? 86. Okay, so you're thinking about 20% of level 25s have cleared it. Yeah, it's 1.9. Yeah, it's about 20%, somewhere around there. That is insanely fucking low. Like, think about that. Because a lot of people think that, oh, everybody does that. No, there are just like an army of boomers out there that the only social media they use is like Facebook, okay?
35 characters, or about 1.9%, have fully cleared the raid.
It's just how it is,
But there are
yeah.
plenty more still looking to group.
They're Facebook
so get in there
gamers.
and good luck on your rolls.
Yeah, they use LinkedIn. Damn.
But do be careful when waiting for your group to gather outside of BFD. With new zone-specific mounts and helms to earn, and a new world PvP event triggered by killing things, Ashenvale is a great place to test your new abilities on the other faction. So, let's see here. How hot is the heat exactly? Today, 3,892,758 PvP deaths have been recorded alone in Ashenvale. Right now, the Horde is up 6 percentage points with 2,064,975 kills to the Alliance 1,827,783.
Wow.
But it's Warcraft after all, and the battle is never ending. So zone in, help reinforce your side, and rack up those honorable kills.
It's just the way it goes.
And that's the first week of Season of Discovery by the numbers. These stats continue to climb
I
every
hope they
minute, so
they
join
add
the
more
count.
of these.
There's never been a better time to roll a new character, find your perfect build, and rediscover World of Warcraft, or discover it for the first time. Until next time, party up, watch your step, and stay safe out there.
Isn't it crazy? Isn't it fucking crazy that only 20% of players have cleared BFD yet? A lot of people don't raid. They don't really play the game that seriously. It's casual Andes, man. I think it'll take time. Like, obviously, Warrior, I didn't really like how... my damage is fine as Warrior, but, like, really, I could do my rotation as a Warrior with a garage door opener. You just hit the same button over and over. That's it. Like, what the fuck is this? I am a Season of Discovery enjoyer. I think it's great. I have almost 2 characters at 25. Give the video a like. Make sure you guys do it too if you like it. But I like Season of Discovery, right? Yes, I think it's great.